Hello everyone and welcome along. Both these two sides' league phase matches come to a close today as Al Shorta of Iraq welcome Al Duhail of Qatar to the Al Zora Stadium here in Baghdad. Well, heading into this final game for both, one side already knows this will be the end of their campaign in Asia's premier club competition, but for the other, well, they still have their fate to decide. Now, Shorta are out and therefore cannot reach the top 8 of the West Region group, whatever happens today, and also means the round of 16 and knockout football is off the table and out of the question for the host today. As for Al Duhail, well, they still have work to do to achieve a top 8 finish. Currently, they lie 7th in the top 8 ahead of today's final fixtures, meaning that's enough for a place in the knockout stages and continuing their Asian Champions League Elite campaign. A draw would see them through and book their spot in the top 8 and also not have to have the worry or stress of relying on other results to go their way. And today there has been a bit of drama to add as well, as Sharjah's surprise loss at home to Nasaf of Uzbekistan has ruled them out of qualification, and Al Kharafa's vastly inferior goal difference means it's only a point that Al Duhail need to do it and reach the knockout stages rather than the 3 they thought they'd have to get. But I don't think that will stop them wanting the maximum and to reach the round of 16 in the best fashion possible. However, a defeat, they could be sweating and could well end up not qualifying, with several teams trying to take their spot and place in the next stage of the competition. We already know 6 of the participants for the round of 16. The Saudi trio of Al Hilal, Al Ahly and Al Ittihad are through and are joined by Tractor of Iran plus Al Wahda and now Al Ahly of the United Emirates have booked their spot in the round of 16, which is to come next month. 2 spots are to be decided over the next 2 days, with 3 teams now in the hunt, all of them from Qatar. As mentioned, Al Duhail involved, but the other 2 in the mix are sides in Al Saad and Al Jarafa. So coming into this, Al Duhail have it in their own hands to progress. In attendance there is the Iraq coach Graham Arnold. Of course, no doubt he's got a big few weeks to come with his nation in World Cup playoff action. They're 2 games away from reaching the World Cup finals in North America, so he'll get a chance to see some players who he might be picking in his squad for those 2 games. But what is also interesting is the fact that not every game in the West region, as is the same in the East region of the AFC Champions League Elite, are all taking place on just a single day and all with the same kickoff time simultaneously. So Al Duhail potentially may not officially know if they're in the knockout stages until tomorrow's games come to an end, as this is round 8 of the league phase. And it is taking place over that 2-day period. That is something that Al Duhail, I can assure you, will not want to happen or come their way. Both sets of players are lining up in the tunnel now here at the Al Zora Stadium. Shorta have had a new stadium of theirs built over the last few months. They'd only officially hosted their first competitive match in the new Al Shorta Stadium in early January. And they are completing their campaign at the home of one of their rivals in Al Zora in the capital. It's a dry evening here in the Iraqi capital. Shorta, remember, winless this current campaign. They are simply just playing for pride this evening in trying to end on the highest note possible on what's been a difficult campaign for the Iraqi champions. Duhail do come off the back of 3 defeats in their 3 previous away matches in this competition this season. The 4th one, as mentioned, could be really, really costly. Well, there's still a lot to decide this evening in what's going to be a fascinating and potentially dramatic final fixtures in the league phase. We've already seen that today with the fixtures earlier on. Will we get some drama and excitement here as Al Duhail know what is assigned of them as they enter the field of play here at the Al Zora Stadium in a game that they have probably described themselves in the build-up to this, some of their members of their squad, as the biggest of their season. Now they would love to deliver and be safely through to the round of 16 in the AFC Champions League Elite. Well, on to the sides then, starting with Al Shorta. They doubled their points total from 1 to 2 in this competition after their 1-1 draw away in Uzbekistan against PSC Nasaf last week. From that game, no fewer than 7 changes selected for their final game in this season's Asian Champions League Elite. Mohammed Karim, Sharif Abdul Kadim, Ahmed Yahya, Bassam Shakir, Bubakar, Leonor Ateba and Bouli Sombu come in, with the players outgoing from that draw being Hassan Ahmed, Mustafa Sadoun, Manaf Yunus, Fakht Al Yusuf, Dominic Mendy, Hussein Jabbar and Mahmoud Al Mawaz, who are moved to the bench. Our referee tonight is Ahmad Nasruddin from Malaysia. Has the notable feat of being the first Malaysian official to use VAR in an ACL match in September 2023, when he was in charge of it for Buriram United of Thailand against Zhejiang of China. And he has got an on-pitch team of Malaysian officials. On VAR, by the way, is Sivakorn Pu Udom. And assisting him is Torpong Somsing. He'll be able to provide assistance to Mohammed Nasruddin should he require it. Well, for Al Duhail, like their opponents, they managed a 1-1 draw in their penultimate Asian Champions League phase match last week. Jamal Belmadi is elected to make considerably less changes in his counterpart in Moeen Suleiman's selection as they make 2 alterations out of their final and pivotal match, as the incomings are Yusuf Ayman in defence to partner Jean-Charles Castelletto as he comes in for the suspended Ibrahima Bomba, who has to set up this game due to picking up 3 yellow cards, whilst the final change is Mubarak Shanan, who is in for Luis Junior. So what will proceed in this final game for Al Duhail? They would love to make this as easy as possible. It seems like the odds are very much in their favour. All they've simply got to do is get a positive result against the winless Al Shorta and avoid the drama, make it uncomfortable as they hope to extend their stay beyond the league phase in this season's competition. Draw or win and it's job done. So Al Shorta, as mentioned, it's been a winless league phase so far, so will there be one win to bring some sort of salvation and happiness, as they will want to end with a bit of pride, which is the main source and biggest thing they are playing for today. Immediately the hosts in possession. Razak Kazim went down. Down for Al Duhail. There is a bit of a thing that could plague them coming into this game, the fact that they have lost all 3 of their away games in this competition, heading into their final away match of the league phase and final game overall. Yortek just knock it into Edmilson Jr., who takes a tumble. Defended well enough by the host there. Borejou. To Yusuf Ayman. Borejou. From the games last week, Al Shorta did start very slowly in their draw against Nasaf of Uzbekistan. They did really take their time to get going in that game away from home. I mean, Soliman looks on. His 3rd spell as the Al Shorta head coach, the Egyptian, has led them to great success. There's Bassam Shakir. Moves out there with a fair challenge coming in from Adil Bulbina. Chance here potentially for Zidane. Across the box it goes. And the shot comes in. And it's one that has led to a corner, but Shorta there almost getting an early goal here. Utez Zidane played it in the box. It just went a little bit behind Shakir. And it would drop for Bouli Sombu, who couldn't quite get there as Boubakari Soumar got the vital touch. Crucial that he was there, because Sombu, I think, would have been putting that in for 1-0. Away by Borejou there. One back, here is a Taba. Anywhere will do, as Bulbina will look to try and win it against Hussein Ali. Shorta defender stands up to it well. It is interesting, the selection made by Moen Solomon tonight in his team. There are some players having to sort of maybe fill in temporary positions that they're not quite used to. Certainly the fullback areas is a debatable one as to who's actually going to line up in that position. It does look like it's Hussein Ali on the right side. He is usually a winger, as we usually know. Sombu. But it's been a very encouraging start here by the Iraqi side. Abdul Kadim. Maybe another corner for Shorta. It is they at the moment who are piling on the pressure in the opening exchanges. Jamel Belmadi looks on. All he's focused on, he's just simply trying to get a win. He has got a squad that is absolutely ravaged by injuries at the moment. They've not named the full quota of 12 subs that they could have for tonight's game. Only 8 named from a possible 12. The likes of Marco Verratti and Tuta are missing, just to name 2 notable absentees. Ali. Getting it back, and Piontek nearly nipped in. And up above Ayman was Sombu, but looks as though Lionel Ateba may have just used his arm there. He has been in good form of late as Ateba. 7 goals in his last 9 games. All of them have come in the Iraqi Stars League, which for Al Shorta it's been an unbeaten start to 2026. 9 games in total. One of those, of course, was that draw against Nasaf in their final away game of the Champions League Elite phase. It's a lovely header on now too, Ateba here. And eventually get a shot away, he will. However, the flag does eventually go up. He had the beating of the offside trap there. He did just slightly go too far forward as Jean-Charles Castelletto claps and appreciates the defensive line that the rest of his team managed to produce and trap in Lionel Ateba there. By Piotek. Boubacar last. Well, he's just trying to see where his options are. Just went in and behind of Sharif Abdul Kadim there. Spotted by the referee. But these two sides did meet in the 2021 AFC Champions League. It would be 1 win apiece. Third ever meeting between these two in this competition. Turn to Ali from Moutez Zadem is one that completely misses him out. You consider for Al Duhail how they've been faring in the Qatari Stars League, the top flight, where they're not going so great. They are sort of in the bottom half of the table in that 12-team league. This really has provided a avenue and something to make the season a bit better than what it is on the domestic front. We're coming into this, a draw tonight would see them through because of the vastly inferior goal difference fellow Qatari top flight side Al Jarafa have. Away as Ed Milson Jr. pounces and wins it. Sumar, Boreju. Shannon delivers. Bina was the target. Struggling to clear. Oh, the host of Piotek has put Al Duhail in the lead. Fabulous finish by the Polish forward. As Al Duhail, with a positive result, will see themselves through to the round of 16, are edging closer to it. Well, they'll no doubt check whether or not there is a potential high foot from Piotek here, or a foul from the header from Shannon. First ball in was cleared by Agun. He won the header. It's whether or not he's just gone into the back of Yahya there that could maybe see this goal get ruled out. It would be a bit harsh on Piotek given how well he managed to finish off the ball that came into him. So Sivakorn Buadom of Thailand. Checking all the angles alongside his assistant. Jorpong Somsing. We've now told the referee that the goal and the decision is going to stand. And Al Duhail will be in the lead. It's courtesy of Krzysztof Biotek. Disappointing for the host, given that they had made it a little bit nervous for the defence of Al Duhail, given the amount of sort of territory and how much positivity there been in their play. Ali immediately trying to get an equaliser here, it seems, but this was just missing as Stiletto's there. Not the best efforts of Ed Milson Jr. It did cross the line and out of play. Just trying to prod that through. Ali winning it. Zidane, the Tunisian. Best of crosses, not the best of connections either. Table dispossessed as Sumar wins it. Now Bubina chasing it. One of his goals was Mohamed Karim, who made the decision quickly, and it was a very good decision he made as well. As well as that point they got against Nasaf on match day 7, they did draw their opening game of the competition, drawing 1-1 with Al Sadd. Dominic Mendy would score the goal that would get them a point that night. Ali. Challenge in there by the Al Duhail left back. Sultan. Braka. By Hyman there, and just a chance for his teammates to just get up the pitch. Braka. That's not the best clearance by Hyman this time, but he's made up for it. Stopped Bassam Shakir from making something happen. This ball by Borajul. Aurawi. Bina will get there to carry it on, this attack. And Milson Jr. Braka with the delivery. Piotek, it's over his head. On by Shannon, and Agun couldn't fully clear it. It's now ball Bina. Agun diving in front of it. In by Milson Jr. And now play will stop with now Shorta player down. Just this from Bulbina, which did see his hand in the face of Hussein Ali. Was simply just trying to fend him off. It was the Algerian who has been in red-hot form in this competition with 6 goals already, including scoring a penalty in the 1-1 draw against Sharjah. And his goal. Krzysztof Piotek that has Al Duhail in the lead and on course for the round of 16. Brilliant technique to get right underneath that, watch the bounce, and then just to guide it well away from Mohamed Karim there. Into the box. Haurawi though will get there first. Now Borejou. Bina called for it. Borejou was just trying to find him, but it was blocked by Yahya. Wanting a free kick. Subsequently not getting one. Much to the dismay of Shannon there. As mentioned prior to this, they had been winless on their travels in this season's Champions League at Al Duhail. They had lost at Al Hilal, Al Waqda and Tractor. Really a messy moment for Mohamed Karim there. Zidane. There's a pulled on there by Sumar. He's adamant. The officials think otherwise. Interesting to see that Jamel Belmadi was very quick to turn around and say that wasn't a foul. The Al Duhail head coach. Very obvious in his gesticulating there. What he felt about that decision. Kasim to them. This is an Al Shorta side who've scored just 3 goals in this league phase. They are the lowest scorers in the West region. Sombu. Few appeals for a foul which don't go the host way. Could be promising here though. By Albraka. Shakir will go for the curler and scores! Al Shorta level with Bassam Shakir. Sultan Albraka couldn't fully get it away and out of the penalty area. As Bassam Shakir for Al Shorta levels it up. Cross would come in from Ahmed Yahya. They just seemed to be very slow to react when the ball would be flicked on towards Shakir there. Take nothing away. Fine finish to find the corner away to Salah's right. And now Shorta, who have not let that Piotek goal affect them one bit. They've managed to score just their 4th goal in this season's competition. And 50% of them have come from that man now, Bassam Shakir. Remember, this is a scoreline that would do for Al Duhail any sort of positive result. If they were to lose, they would have to hope that Al Saad and Al Rafa both don't win. Now Sombu. They're just about keeping this alive. Shakir. is an Shorta side who don't seem to progress that far in this competition. Over the last couple of seasons, they have usually ended up falling at the first hurdle. In their campaign last year, they would fall at the league phase stage. Prior to that, in 2020, 2021, they would also fall at the group stage hurdle. Hussein Ali. Just to dig out a cross. Salah, the Al Duhail goalkeeper, sprinting out to get it. Remember, with the West region, we know that the only position that was guaranteed in the top 8 was Al Hilal in terms of them finishing top, 2nd to 8th. And their final standings would be also determined. Remember, if you finish 1 to 4 in the round of 16, you play away first as a reward for being in the top 4 positions. 5th to 8th means that you play at home first. There's now Bulbina. By Tarek Agoon. There was a shout for potential handball and an arm used there by Agoon, but the referee, Muhammad Nasruddin of Malaysia, said no. Remember, once the round of 16 is over in the Champions League Elite, quarter-final onwards, you will be facing a side from the eastern side. Could await Al Duhail. Well, sure to know that won't be the case for them. But they're playing well here in their final outing in this competition for this season. Shakir, the goal scorer for Shorta. Get the cross in was Yahya, but did just bounce off a visiting player. Wilson Junior immediately looking to see where Bulbina is on the pitch. Just trying to check if he is offside. Flag has stayed down, he's good to continue. I think both alike, the Al Shorta players and maybe Adil Bulbina, did think he was maybe offside there. Bina. Ayman. Jean-Charles Castelletto. Borajou. Shannon. We'll give it to Borajou there, but it's done well by Kasim. Shakir. He's fouled there by Jean-Charles Castelletto, and I don't think he's going to just escape with a warning here, perhaps. Some referees may have seen those type of offences as ones that are worthy enough of a yellow card. You can certainly see there that Tarek Agoon did have his arms in, or arm in, I should say, because it only hit one of them. Stands for Al Duhail, and what is their first season back in this competition after 2 campaigns away. It's going to not be ending at the league phase hurdle as it stands. Sharjah losing earlier. That has now meant that they can now get a draw because of the inferior goal difference of fellow Qatari side Al Duhail. Also competing to try and get into the top 8 are Al Sadd, the side who beat them to the league last year. And the ball back towards Salah is one that he's on the sprint to get back, which should never be happening from that point of view. He's quite low-key in his reaction. Some goalkeepers would be going absolutely wild if they received a pass like that back. Shorta and Al Duhail may have just been feeling a little bit worried when he tried to knock it back to his goalkeeper and overhit it. Exactly where he wanted to go and where he wanted to give it back to, but I don't think he quite planned to put as much power on it as he did. And this delivery from Ali be good. Castelletto would get there first. The home fans not too happy there with Jamel Belmadi. All stemmed from this, as he was very reluctant to give the ball straight into Hussein Ali there. He can be quite box office on those sidelines in terms of how he acts and how animated he can get. Jamel Belmadi, who back in charge of this club once again. He managed them when they were, of course, known as Lekwia. Over 2 spells and then returned to them as Al Duhail in July 25 after 18 months out, in which his last job was, of course, the Algerian national team. He's a well-known figure in Qatari football, not just with Lekwia or Al Duhail, even with the Qatari national team where he spent time as their head coach. Abraka. Just trying to stand up against Milson Junior and has to put that behind. Couldn't quite fend off at Milson Junior there, and as he went to ground, felt he might have been pulled on. That's what he is saying to the referee. Milson Junior, Kareem didn't get a strong enough punch to it, but does dive on the ball. Maybe he can count himself a little bit lucky there that he came out and didn't get a strong enough connection to it. It didn't lead to anything toward his goal in any way. Let's play this by the house. Tabor. Just a little bit away from Shakir as it took a little deflection off a Al Duhail player. Abraka. Won't quite go through towards Bubina. Here is Piotek. Here's towards Bubina, is intercepted and read by Kareem, the goalkeeper. Well, that was lovely play in itself from Ed Milson Jr. and then Boubacar slipped. Piatek looked to just try and tee it up for Balbino. You probably would have put that ball in the net had it reached him. But it just wasn't one to get away from the goalkeeper. Given away by Zidane, rather cheaply as well. Janan. Next tangled up with Zidane, and it'll be a free kick for the Qatari side. Just got tangled up there, hit the pair of them there. Bubina will fancy this. Karim, the goalkeeper for Al Shorta, might be bracing himself here for a shot toward his goal. He would love for his wall to charge this down. Here's Balbina. Doesn't work or test the goalkeeper there, who will happily just see it go past him. And they can let off Zidane there, who gave the ball away and then just committed the foul for that free kick, which Balbina would pull away from goal, well away from it as well. If Shorta were to win today's game, they would match the total of points they got in last season's competition. So they would be worse off, I should say. They did get 6 points last year. Their only win would come against Al Ain, winning by 2-0 last season. So it is going to be a campaign worse off than last season. Bina take the back and winning it back. St. Ali is trying to be quite industrious on that side when he's wanted to be. Now it's towards Abdul Kadim, and there's the shot, but one that Shakir can't keep down and have the same luck as he did for the equaliser. Taber's ball in just was taken off Sombu's head by Castelletto, and then Abdul Kadim set it up for Shakir, who was well placed to try and test the goalkeeper, but it was a rather poor attempt from the Al Shorta goal scorer. He wins that header. And Milson Jr. Duhail saw the challenge, and it was a good one. And the Duhail captain has stayed down. Very sporting of Abdul Razak Kasim, who kicks it out of play. Well, he certainly catches him on the follow through, but he does get the ball first. Really well timed that by Ahmed Yahya. Bourgeois is going to fill that. There's only one person who's come out of that in a bad light, and that was Bourgeois, of course, who was on the end of that challenge. Well, here's the equaliser again. Cracking finish by Bassam Shakir. You knew the moment he curled it, it looked like it was just going to be destined for the net, and how it was. Fans in the stadium and the teammates of his on the bench enjoyed that as well, alike. As I mentioned during the game, they have had several first teamers been missing of late, of Al Duhail, the likes of Marco Verratti, Tuta, and Moaz Ali. They don't want Benjamin Bourgeois to be the latest. Certainly would have felt that on impact from Ahmed Yahya. Goodness for him wearing shin pads. That's all I can say. Bourgeois, I can remember when he played in France in Ligue 1 with Rennes. He was a player who would like to play out wide at times. Now more sort of in the middle since he's gone to a different continent, to the Middle East and Qatar, and Al Duhail. See, he's back up to his feet, so for the time being he'll stay on the pitch, as no doubt the medical staff will be monitoring him quite closely. And the furthest Al Duhail have reached this competition was in the 21-22 season. Beaten by Saudi Arabian side Al Hilal 7-0 in a one-legged semi-final when Hernan Crespo was the head coach of Al Duhail. Any previous campaign after that would see them exit at the group stage in the 23-24 campaign. So we're into the closing stage of this first half here. Only one of these two teams still has a chance of qualifying. That is the visitors, Al Duhail. It started off so well with Christophe Piotek's strike. However, though, it was cancelled out by Bassam Shakir, and a fine equaliser due to the result earlier in the day in the United Arab Emirates, with Sharjah losing to Nasaf, surprisingly, of Uzbekistan. It has not meant that Al Duhail, all they need is a point, and they will be in the round of 16. Boubacar. Yahya now onto Abdul Kadim. Impressed very high there by Awari. Bourgeois will reach Piotek via a touch off Boubacar. Well, Their position in the live table wasn't moved, so they are still 7th in the standings, are Al Duhail. So they would be playing the side who finished 2nd in Al Ahly of Saudi Arabia. And that is, of course, if the result stays like it is. Chance here to, this time from a free kick, for something out of Mohamed Karim, as Milson Junior was fouled by Kasim. In Sharjah, he was a player who was used on that far side of the pitch, over on the right side, but very much seeming in this first half adopting a more central role. Free kick lies on the shoulders of Ishimat Borejou. The keeper isn't able to hold on to it if it does reach him. You'd imagine there'll be a sea of red shirts waiting and anticipating to maybe get a rebound towards Karim in the goal for Al Shorta. It is Borejou. Into the wall it goes. It's still not over yet. It's Piatek. He's not on target with the effort this time. They are saying that there was a hand used in there of the Al Duhail players, and in particular Piatek. The arm does look like it does go up from Bouli Sombu here. I think we might be seeing a check on VAR, which is Thailand Sivakorn Pu Udom. Do you wonder if it will get to that point where he will go to the monitor on the side of the pitch to have a further look himself, the referee, Muhammad Nasruddin. Crowd sit and wait, players stand and wait on both sides. The referee has been told to look at the pitch side monitor here. Momin Soliman will certainly let it be known what he thinks of it. It does look like that does maybe strike the left arm of Sombu there. It seems like that's in a real unnatural position to me. No doubt they'll be probably checking all the angles to see if it does maybe come off his head first, and to see if it is actually off the arm, if not off the head. Right on the eve of stoppage time approaching at the Al Zora Stadium, we could be getting a penalty for Al Duhail. And we will be. Bouli Sombu, adjudged to have used his arm in trying to block Benjamin Borejou's free kick. The VAR, Sivakorn Pu Udom, told the referee, Muhammad Nasruddin, to have a look himself and to give the penalty. Al Duhail were very, very quick after Piatek's shot to appeal. And now the Qatari side have the chance to retake the lead and to potentially take a lead into the break with them. It was a penalty that saw them get a draw against Sharjah, albeit they had to have a second attempt at it from Adil Bubina after the goalkeeper for Sharjah was adjudged to have gone off his line too quickly. But the man whose free kick was blocked by an arm in Benjamin Bourejou now has the chance to put Al Duhail back in front. Scored a penalty in the away defeat to Traktor on the 22nd of December. Is he able to score here? It is Bourejou, and he does. The lead is back with Al Duhail as Benjamin Bourejou's coolly taken penalty has them back in front. Didn't mess about, did the French midfielder. Little stutter. Karim was already moving slightly to his left just before contact was made on the ball from Bourejou. And Al Duhail back in front, courtesy of their captain. How they were gifted the chance to score from the spot as Bouli Sombu stuck his arm up to try and block the free kick just a few minutes before. Maybe they fancy another one before the end of the first half. It's now Bobina. Still manages to keep the ball at his feet despite going down. Piatek all the way through to the keeper. He did take a bit of an awkward bounce just in front of the goalkeeper, but it would be one that would not bounce over him or go under him at all. It would be straight into his midriff. Hussein Ali now for Al Shorta. They continue despite the player being on the ground and a teammate of his. Zadem. Just about goes through to Yahya there. At first it didn't look like it was going to. The car getting out of Piatek, who I think just pulled out there somewhat. See. Abdul Kadim getting it. Chance to cross. Kassim. Shakir. They've already responded once to going a goal down. Can they do it again? Zawari safely heads that back to Salah. Just about had enough on it to travel back to his goalkeeper. Sombu was lurking with intent. There will be another stoppage here with Piatek down. Boubacar just leaving his arm into the back of the head of Piatek there. Hope it isn't too severe for the Pole. He scored the first of the two Al Duhail goals this evening. Amen. Piatek does now come back on. So it will be 11 v 11 as we are over the 6 added on. Agun. See through to Abdul Kadim. There's there to be one final chance of the first half. Agun. He just recently came to the club after playing at Metro Globus in Romania in Europe. Born in Troyes in France, and then he's of Algerian descent as well, is Tarek Agun. Ali. Strong challenge by Ayman. The ball did go out of play. So still we carry on in this first half. Tabor. Just trying to get around. Marker there. Braka. Shakir. Zadeh. Kasim now for Al Shorta. Shakir. Battling away with Piatek, who's back and helping out his defence. Boubacar. Hussein Ali. Hoisted into the box. It's good play by Boubacar to get ahead of Bulbina, crucially did. Shot coming in. It's Abdul Kadim who let rip. As the half-time whistle blows, well, Al Duhail know that a positive result will see them through to the round of 16, and that is exactly what is happening. Christophe Piatek, the Pole, would score the first of the two Al Duhail goals. Bassam Shakir would equalise with a wonderful curling finish past Salah in the Al Duhail goal, and then Benjamin Bourdieu's free kick, blocked by Boulissambu, would result in a VAR check and a penalty for the Qatari side, and Bourdieu would step up and coolly dispatch past Mohamed Karim. It's half-time at the Al Zora Stadium. Al Shorta 1, Al Duhail 2. Both sides are out here for the second half here at the Al Duhail Stadium. Al Duhail closing in on a place in the round of 16 in the Asian Champions League Elite. You need a draw, but they're doing it in the best way possible, and that is with a win. Shorta, this is the final 45 minutes of the campaign for them, and as it stands, they're going to be the only side in the West region without a win after Nasaf won earlier. Away to Sharjah and the United Arab Emirates, it means they're going to be bottom of the table. If they were to score twice, that would mean that Al Duhail would have to watch and see how the results would play out between fellow Qatari side Al Sadd and Al Harafa, who both play tomorrow. Al Harafa against Tractor and Al Sadd against Saudi side Al Ittihad. And there's been a change for Al Shorta as well, as Ahmed Farhan has gone on for the start of this second half. Wadi. With a real bright, positive start in the first half did Al Shorta, the Iraqi side. They would have got in front inside the opening 3 minutes had Boubakary Soumar not been there to stop Buildup from scoring. Maybe a little bit unhappy with Yusuf Ayman's attempts to try and win the ball off him. It was Buildup, who only just recently joined the Iraqi champions. From fellow Iraqi side Duhail. He has played a role in this game, albeit not for the right reasons, as it was his handball in the penalty area that would lead to Al Duhail scoring a penalty in stoppage time in the first half. In terms of the live standings, Al Duhail would finish 6th in the standings as it stands. They would be facing Al Wahda of the United Arab Emirates in the two-legged round of 16 game, which they would be at home for first. Al Wahda currently in action against Al Hilal. Games currently 1 apiece in Saudi Arabia. Remember, once the round of 16 is completed, if Al Duhail are to make it through, they then would go and be in the quarter-finals. It'd be one-legged from then on in, and they would see them come up against sides from the East region, with the sort of finals to be played in Jeddah in Saudi Arabia. Zadem, shoved clearly there by Edmilson Junior. Easiest foul the referees had to call for this entire game.
Play there, throw there. Play now.
Soumar. It's a beautiful ball through to Bulbina. Ogun gets the challenge spot on. Biotek. Right into the centre. And the shot from Braka is well off target. Eventually a shot would come in from the left back. Retakes cross into the box would nearly find a teammate in there. I think it was Borejou who was the player looking to try and get on the end of the ball in. Done well by Milson Junior. Interesting to see at the start of this second half that Bark Shannon and Adel Boubina have both swapped sides. Boubina was maybe not quite used as much in the first half as maybe Al Duhail were hoping for. Hoping that will change as there's a positional switch between them two. Borejou. Players coming back and were able to make sure that his pass wouldn't find a red shirt. Yahya. And now towards a Tabor. Chance here perhaps for the hosts. A few little step overs. And it's nicely done by Salah to get a hand to it. Yeah, the Tabor there was putting Jean-Charles Castelletto in knots. Fortunately, the hell goalkeeper Salah had his near post covered and pushed it out for a corner. That's the first save of the half he's had to make. Good with the flick. Shakir, Ali. Maybe just hit that. Put a little bit too much on that there, did Hussein Ali. What the hell, had to quickly make sure that they were able to scramble over to that side of their own box. He could maybe just have a better first touch there, Hussein Ali. It might be not so rushed on the second one when he eventually does take the strike on. Not usually in a right back position, but he's dropping in and filling in tonight. Last time out against Nassaf, Mustafa Sadoun would play in that position. Kassim. Shakir. In space is Farhan, but so not to use him at first. He does get it hit. Does Farhan? And that's another strong stop by Salah. Really, really good spell this by the Iraqi side as they plan this short corner, which has gone to the feet of a Tabor. Ball is a little bit too high for a teammate in there. But they're not going down quietly. Al Shorta, Sumar now advances. And Yahya heads it all the way back to Mohamed Karim, but there's a real urgency, it seems, about Al Shorta's play in the very early exchanges of this second half. Stiletto slides in and the Tabor just lets it go out. History is repeating itself in terms of a fast start to the half by the hosts, albeit with more chances towards the goal, as Salah's goal was leaving a charmed life at the moment. Zidane. Ali. Zidane gets there, goes down. I think he was looking for that there, to be fair. But it does have to go to Ahmed Yahya there, because he just put his arm up to the side of Zidane, who tried his very best to win a free kick there. As we see that save from Salah again. And how about it as well? Not just a save, but a flying one at that. That's now two he's had to do in this second period. It was just as important as the first one that he made. She denied Lionel Ateba, the man from Cameroon. And to find the net in this season's competition, he's got 35 minutes or so to try and get his name on the score sheet in the Champions League Elite. Shakir, brilliantly done. Sombu, shot goes in. Now Shorta equalise again, and it's Bouli Sombu this time. A recent addition from fellow Iraqi side Duhail. And now Shorta have made it 2-2. And on his first start, Bouli Sombu scores for Al Shorta. Sam Shakir rolled away from his man, which was Sultan Al Braka, who went out to close him down, went and engaged with him. And that space vacated by Al Braka would see the ball go to Bouli Sombu. And how he would arrow it in, away from the keeper. And that is richly deserved, given how well they have started in this second half of the Iraqi side. As Al Duhail have been pegged back again. Now Kasim. Shakir. Ali now arriving. In towards Sombu! He scored again! Al Duhail's lead is gone! And now there might be growing fears of anxiety in the Qatari side. From 2-1 down in the blink of an eye, Al Shorta lead 3-2 as Bouli Sombu grabs a double. Well, they've just not got started in this second half whatsoever of Jamel Belmadi's team, and how they've been punished. Finished nicely steered home by Bouli Sombu, but look at the amount of space Hussein Ali has got inside the box to find Sombu, who just guides it once again away from the goalkeeper with an effort of his. And Al Shorta, member winless in this season's West region of the Champions League Elite, already knowing their fate, knowing that they can't trouble the top 8, of beating a team who intend, come full time, to be in the top 8 and into the knockout stages. As we now get to see what Al Duhail are made of in terms of their ability to come back. And Nelson Junior, number But with this result, it wouldn't mean that they are out of it, but what it would do is that it would give Al Sadd and Al Jarafa an even better chance of qualifying, and still mean that those 2 spots are well up for grabs. As it is a Qatari shootout to see which 2 of the 3 sides that I just mentioned take the final 2 spots. We already know that the Saudi trio of Al Hilal, Al Ahly and Al Ittihad will be in the round of 16. We know Tractor of Iran are going to be there. We also know Al Wahda and Al Ahly of the United Arab Emirates will also be there too. We're going to be getting 2 Qatari sides, but which 2? We still don't know if it stays like this. What an opening 15 minutes to this second half we have seen here at the Al Zohra Stadium. Karim looking towards Sombu, into a Taiba, now Shakir, to Farhan, Yahya towards a Taiba, could not get that away from the Al Duhail defence. The kicker Zidane just catches the foot of Awari. Still the away day struggles are continuing for Al Duhail. As mentioned, 3 games prior to this, 3 defeats. Losses have come away to Al Hilal. They lost 2-1, they lost 3-1 to Al Wahda, and then lost 2-1 to Tractor of Iran. Before kick-off, we heard Sultan Al Braka in the pre-match press conference say that this was the biggest game of the season for Al Duhail. With them not going well in the league, this really is a big competition now for them. Does seem there's not just Boubacar down or wanting some treatment. Now Shorta captain. Maybe a teammate of his, and did see that there was a Al Duhail player and Milson Junior maybe just struggling. So that's a dental little touch of the back foot of Boubacar there, the man from Niger. Well, they've not had much to cheer about in this competition of the Al Shorta fans, home or away. Certainly ending on a high. Uli Sombu is the man that has dragged the Iraqi side back into this game and in front. We get to see the equaliser that he got. That was a terrific strike that made it 2-2, and then not long after that he would add a third. Just on that strike, as a goalkeeper, you really do not save them. does Jamel Belmadi decide to go to the bench. He's only got 8 subs to choose from. As the first yellow of the game has gone in the direction of Mohamed Karim for seemingly now adopting a bit of time wasting. Maybe a bit too early to try and do that. Just mentioned, right on cue, here's a change for the Qatari side as Ismail Mohammed goes on for Shinan. There was one of 2 players to be brought into the starting lineup that didn't feature in the lineup to start against Sharjah on match day 7. Braka. Bukar. Karim. Samar jumps highest. Junior. They've just been trodden on there by the boots of Sombu. Well, they have got work to do. The visitors, if they are to get something from this game, all they need is a point, remember. That secures their passage into the round of 16 in the Champions League Elite. All eyes on Bordeaux. Bayagoun will be kept in play. Ismail Mohammed. Easy for Karim. He's incidentally actually playing his first Asian Champions League game, Mohamed Karim, since he featured against Istiklal of Iran in the competition last year. And the team today ahead of Hassan Ahmed, who was replaced by Mohamed Suleiman in the team. There'll be no doubt Al Duhail, if they get the chance tomorrow to watch Al Harafa's game, they'll be having a very close eye on it, as if they beat Traktor tomorrow of Iran, they would leapfrog them and take their place ahead of them in the top 8. Before any of the action took place today, they needed to guarantee a win. The door was open for them just to need a draw after Sharjah suffered that shock defeat against Nasaf of Uzbekistan, which ruled them out of contention. Many people probably expected this to be a banker against the side already eliminated. No win in the competition this season. It's not going the way some expected. The Iraqi side, Al Shorta, have had other ideas. Ahmed Farhan, second half sub, will be about to deliver this for Al Shorta. Bina looking at the pieces. So just about able to get that away. Boreju. Shake off Zidane there. Awari. Piotek looking for it. Sails over him. Sails away from Bulbina, which has not been his night so far. 6 goals in this competition for him already. Consider with Bulbina as well. He is the competition's top goal scorer with 6 goals. He's not even really had that one big chance yet. Zidane is the second Al Shorta player to go in the referee's book. Just not let go of Edmilson Junior. He can look surprised all he wants, but I think he knows that was coming his way once the free kick was given. Nelson Junior heads on. Mohamed now towards Bulbina. Just could not get that under control. Zombu. Shakir. Well, now with Yahya. Farhan. Piotek. Well challenged in there by Kasim. When you consider that coming into tonight's game, Al Shorta had only scored 3 goals in this competition. They've doubled the amount of goals they've scored and they've matched the total in one night. With the 3 they've got as Bulbina goes for it with Karim, and they have just caught the goalkeeper, who managed to just win that battle between those two. He knew Karim that he might get a whack in the face from an opposing player as he was going for that ball. He was brave, and Bulbina there may have just seen his leg just go into the face of Karim there. Because it was at quite a high speed, that probably in the immediate aftermath hurts that little bit more. A for bravery. And an A for winning the ball head of Adil Bulbina. Well, it's this strike that has Al Shorta in a rather surprising lead. Not in terms of how this second half has been, but in terms of pre-match predictions. to appear. Well, Shorta has bully son bout, but as first impressions go, well, not that bad at all. So some changes here for the hosts. The Dem on a yellow card needs to be subbed off for Dominique Mendy, and Lionel Ateba will come off. As we're saying, Jabbar goes on. Wilson Junior. Long raking pass, which didn't quite find Ismail Mohammedi, Al Duhail sub. Jean-Charles Castelletto. By Razak Kasim. Sumar. Now Bulbina. Look out over to this far side. He did start the second half over on the near side, so he has now swapped with Ismail Mohammed, who came on. Now here comes Mendy for Al Shorta. Got an option to his right. And Shakir. Mendy will get it back, takes a touch. I think he felt he had more time than he did there. Maybe he just needed a call from a teammate to tell him that he had a man right behind him. He just maybe expected that ball to come to Mendy, and he was going to hit it first time. But it didn't materialise. Yahya. Jabbar. Jabbar catches and gives away a free kick. Which is Ahmed Yahya, who was on the receiving end of that tackle. Fresh to the club is Boubakary Soumartou Al Duhail after he arrived from Leicester City of the English Championship. His first involvement in the Asian Champions League Elite was in the game against Sharjah, where he started that night in that 1-1 draw on matchday 7 just a week ago. Bina gets there ahead of Hussein Ali. There were some shouts of a potential high foot. Bulbina carries on. Bourdajoul trying to catch up to it. It won't quite reach him. Didn't look at all comfortable there, did Benjamin Bourdajoul, trying to run for that ball. Tashin Jamsid is now going to go on for Bassam Al Rawi. Sacrificing a defender for another attacker. As expected for Al Duhail, who still know that their hopes of progression to the round of 16 are hanging by a thread. It's in their hands. All they needed was a draw to guarantee their place in the round of 16. There's been a second half where they've just not really been able to conjure anything up whatsoever. Sombu trying to get there and almost would get the head of Salah, the goalkeeper for Al Duhail. He might have just slightly overstretched. He was just trying to knock it back to his goalkeeper. Sombu breathing down his neck. Might have just brushed off his hand as he was nearly getting there. Sombu will just hobble off some extended treatment, maybe. This might potentially just suit now Shorta in this game. The fact that Al Duhail are chasing. And that the space could really open up. Be very present at the back. Jean-Charles Castelletto. Yusuf Ayman. That's not good enough. Nelson Junior. This time it is won by Ahmed Farhan. Now Sombu. And after this game today for Al Shorta, the focus will be on trying to win the Iraqi top flight. They have won the last 4 successive Iraqi top flight titles. What is a real golden period for the club. So both sides about to make a change. Firstly, we're going to see one for Al Duhail as Milson Junior will go off. He's just been not looking himself for the last couple of minutes, to be fair. As Rashid Al Abdullah is going to go on. And the end of the night for Bouli Sombu. Gave away a penalty for Al Duhail at the end of the first half, and then in the second half would come back to score twice. That has seen the game the one that they were behind to suddenly in front in. Salim Ahmed goes on in Sombu's absence. All over Sam Shakir there. Don't think he's got many lives left in terms of not picking up a yellow card as Boubakary Soumar. Cry for help on Basham. Shakir is enough for a fellow teammate of his to just try and get rid of some crap that might be just creeping in. Both head coaches in conversation with their fellow trusted members of staff. Just trying to see what they're plotting next, or even speaking about what they are happy or unhappy with, depending on what side of the coin you are. You're Al Shorta, you're going to be giving nothing but praise and probably just discussing how well the team is doing. If you're Al Duhail and Jamel Belmadi, then you're probably just being a bit critical and trying to see what to do to change things, perhaps. Before kick-off, Jamel Belmadi in his pre-match press conference said qualifying for the next stage is not easy. You must win first and look at our chances of qualifying, so he doesn't really care, it seems, about who they face. The most important thing is that they win. It was even before what had happened earlier in the day with Sharjah's result, which meant that the win would then go to a draw is all they would need. They're not managing any of that at the moment. Sumar looking long. Maybe look as though it did strike the arm of Al Abdullah there. Play continues anyway. Ahmed chasing. Sees the throw go as well. Every free kick, with every throw that Al Shorta now get, I don't think they're going to be rushing round to take it quickly, as Fahad Yusuf goes on in place of Bassam Shakir. And he has just returned to the club after spending nearly 6 months as a free agent from the same club who's just signed him, that released him, in fact. Added to Mohamed Solomon's ranks as Bourajou now plays it through to Al Abdullah. Tame effort, however. First real time we've seen a pass split the now Shorta defence in this second half. Got the best of strikes, it has to be said, from Rashid Al Abdullah, the Al Duhail sub. Yusuf. Mendy turning into trouble. One back by Al Duhail. Sumar. Bourajou. Jamshid. Delivers it in. Chance of a handball. Play continues. Mohamed. Pushed away by Mendy. Jamshid. Running out here for the Qatari side to get the goal that would take them through. Otherwise they have to wait and hope that Al Kharafa don't win their game tomorrow. That will mean that they don't progress. With this result as it stands, they would just be through, but they're still waiting on what happens in the Al Sadd game. And Al Kharafa There were some light appeals for potential handball. Corn pulled on. Thailand and in the VAR booth just checking this. We had a penalty given right at the end of the first half. And we're about to see one at the very end of the second half. Mendy. No Shorta player involved. Don't really see a lot wrong with that. And the referee has decided no penalty is the call. It's now Mendy. Two to his left, one to his right. Just didn't release it, did Dominic Mendy. He had the chance to. I think he was just in that position, he just simply didn't really know where to put it or who to pass to there, Dominic Mendy. Fortunately for him, Salim Ahmed has got a free kick for his team. There does seem to be a bit of an inquest going on as to what was going through the mind of Dominic Mendy there. How do Al Shorta approach this free kick? Waiting for the signal from the referee to take it. Yahya. Set long and away from their own half. Now Shorta's Boubacar. As I said before kickoff, Al Duhail would have no doubt wanted to just do their bit, get themselves over the line into the knockout stages and avoid the drama of having to wait to see if you're going to go through 24 hours after you've played. In a battle with two other Qatari sides for 2 spots. With the draw, they would officially confirm their spot in the round of 16. It looks like that's not going to be happening, as Salah made a right mess of kicking the ball out of his hands there. Yusuf loses out, one by Jamshid. Caught was he by Yusuf, shaking the head from the ref. Yahya. Keeping the ball is exactly what Al Shorta will not mind doing. They edge closer to their only win of this season's Champions League Elite campaign. And in the process, potentially damaging on an enormous scale Al Duhail's prospects of round of 16 qualification. Hussein Ali. Farhan. Who just feels just a bit too comfortable for the Iraqi team right now. Forward by Al Braka. Up to head clear as Yahya. Sumar. Borejou. Does cross, does meet it! It's Piatek! And there's the chance for Jamshid. And it's blocked by the Al Shorta defence. If that is to be the closest Al Duhail come to equalising. How close was Piatek from getting his second, and the goal that Al Duhail so desperately need and want. In it goes by Borejou. Ayman met the header. Away and out of the box by the Al Shorta defence. Castellano trying to get up, but he got up too early. Now Dominic Mendy. Alexis stayed down for now. Salim Ahmed will play it across, but it won't reach a teammate as Sumar is there to clear. Now that would have been the clincher for Al Shorta. Credit must go to Boubakari Sumar. Here now come Al Duhail. Al Abdullah. Bulbina. Onto Mohammed. Yahya sliding in. Corner given. Mohammed has stayed down as a result of that challenge from Ahmed Yahya. He's been very strong and robust in his challenges. Well, that's the attempt that fell the way of Krzysztof Piatek. And then just moments after, there was the chance from Ayman, which went straight into a defender, rather than toward the goal. Kareem comes in, got two hands to it, but didn't hold on. Luckily, they're able to clear it, though. There won't be any time for Al Duhail to score. Their place in the West region, top 8 of the Asian Champions League Elite is not guaranteed, as they've been shocked and stunned by Al Shorta of Iraq, who end their campaign on a winning note. They were a goal down when Krzysztof Piatek would score for Al Duhail. The equaliser came from Bassam Shakir. The end of the first half, Benjamin Borejou would score from the penalty spot. That would put Al Duhail in control, but then two goals from Bouli Sombu meant that Al Shorta shocked the Qatari side Al Duhail. They have to wait at least 24 hours to see if they are in the top 8. It's full time here at the Al Zohra Stadium. Al Shorta 3, Al Duhail 2.